All right, another one that's pretty similar, but this time we're doing 1,000th more or less than another number. So 17 and 1/100th minus 1,000. So what is 1,000th less than 17 and 1/100th? Now you might be thinking, but there aren't any thousands. How do I find one less than nothing? Well, remember, if I have 1/100th, I can add a 0, and that's the same thing as 10 thousandths. So now if I take 10 thousandths and I subtract a thousandth, well, how many do I have? 9 thousandths. Okay? And if I had done it by lining up my decimals, I would add my 0. I can't do 0 minus 1, so I would need to borrow. That becomes 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. 0, 0, and 17. Okay? Now I have 1,000th more than 28 and 357 thousandths. Well, I have 7 thousandths. I want one more, so I'd have 8 thousandths. So 28 and 358 thousandths. All right, so I'm just finding 1,000th more. Sometimes instead of saying like add these, it might ask what's the sum. Remember, sum means the answer to an addition problem. So 9 and 2/100ths plus 1,000th. I can either think, okay, well, if I don't have any and I'm adding on 1, I'm just going to have 1 in my thousandths place because I didn't have any before. If you need to, we can write it with a 0 to think I have 20 thousandths plus another 1,000th, I get 21 thousandths. Or I could even add on officially and I still get the same thing. Could also ask what's the difference? Difference, remember, means the answer to a subtraction problem. 7 and 5/10 minus 1,000. What's 1,000th less than 7 and 5/10? Again, one of those ones where it's like, well, I don't have any thousandths. How do I find one less than nothing? But remember, 7 and 5/10 is the same thing as 7 and 500 thousandths. And what's one less than 500? 499. So I have 7 and 499 thousandths. If you need to, you can write it out and borrow. Not a lot of borrowing because I can't do 0 minus 1. I can't borrow from this middle 0, so I have to borrow from the 5. Becomes a 4. That would be 10, but I have to borrow from it, so it becomes 9. This one becomes 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus nothing is 9. 4 and 7. All right, so thinking about my equivalent decimals and what different decimals mean can really help me to figure out 1/10, 1/100th, or in this case, 1,000th more or less than another number. Or I can just write it out and do it sort of the long way. Either one is fine. Use whatever strategy makes sense to you, and let me know if you need help.